Good morning, everyone. 2026. Can we get used to this? Another year, another adventure. And welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary. I'm so happy to see you all here and know that there are folks out in Cyberland waiting for us to start. Thank you. I get some comments sometimes. I turned the recording on and it wasn't there. And I'm like, oh, please cut us a little slack. Sometimes we start a little bit late, but we love you and we'll always be here. Well, inshallah. Anyway, we love being here. We love having the opportunity to be seen and heard around the world and around the country. And thank you, Zach, for being here this morning to make that possible. Thank you all for being here in person. And that's also a special opportunity for us to be in community. And it's something I believe this year we need, all of us as a culture, we need to practice being in community and remembering how nourishing it is to us to be physically in each other's presence. I have been finding that out. So my name is Sally Jo Gilbert de Vargas. I'm co-minister along with Imam Jamal Rahman of this wonderful community called Interfaith Community Sanctuary. We just lit the peace candles. It came from all the different 7 continents of the world. And the Divine Feminine offering, little altar here for the Divine Feminine. And we will be hearing about our Native American land acknowledgement and our welcoming our ancestors here in just a moment. But again, today is our annual membership excuse me, our annual membership celebration. It's a two-part process here. We have our worship service here this morning where we'll do a lot of celebrating of what has happened throughout the last year and some of the things we're looking forward to in the new year. And then we'll go downstairs after the service for our annual membership meeting, our first guiding council meeting of the year 2026. In which we will elect new officers and go through the budget and for the past year and the proposed budget for the new year and any other projects that are ongoing that we need to discuss. And we hope all are welcome. We hope you'll enjoy and join us for that. And we have lunch prepared for you all. And you didn't have to bring it, although a few of you did help by bringing some things. But there's food, plenty of food, and it's not all sweet. I mean, it's really lunch. We have some soups and good stuff. So we're trying to stay healthy this year because we need to do that. Anyway, thank you for being here, and I'm going to welcome up Chris Rapshovitz to do our Native American land acknowledgement, welcome our ancestors, and then we'll move in with the rest of the service. Thank you, Chris.
Good morning. I'm glad I got the psychic memo about wearing purple. Thank you, Sally Jo, and my good friend Janice Tufty, and other people who have purple in their hearts also, of course. I would like to first acknowledge, like we change things up a little bit. Sometimes we do the honoring ancestors first, but I'd like to acknowledge that this land is still unceded native territory, and we honor and hold in our hearts, in addition to purple, hold in our hearts the native folks who have labored here, kept this land, held it in trust for those who came after, and we are very honored to be some of those succeeding generations. The land that this space sits on is originally of the Coast Salish people. There are many tribes in that group, one of which is the Duwamish. The Duwamish and other Coast Salish people have a longhouse on Marginal Way, and they also have a wonderful website called realrentduwamish.org. That site specifically is to acknowledge that while the Duwamish were the original people here, they have not been acknowledged as an official tribe, as I think a tribe was earlier this week. It was one of the Central Plains Confederates. I'm blanking on their name right now, but I was glad to hear that. Even in these, interesting times, I'm going to say. So I'd like to take all that has brought us here today, all our joys and sorrows. I'm going to gather that in my heart. And as I raise my hand up to the Creator, I hope that He or she brings a gift to me, and I return that to my heart. And as I raise my hand up, I'm going to say the sacred word, "Oh." So those of you who'd like to join me in that, again, just think in your hearts, think about how you got here today. Take a deep breath. Raise your arm up. Oh. Blessings to all of you. And I'd also like to honor our ancestors. We have many folks in our lives, and maybe in the different parts of our lives where we learn about different practices, spiritual practices and otherwise. I hope that all of those ancestors can join us today. I also ask and implore the universe directly to bring all those who've worshiped here over the many generations. This building was built in 1890, so the folks that I'm asking to be here can number in the hundreds, and I ask that the spirit of Karen Lindquist and Deborah Lajmandir particularly, but many other folks, David Jenkins, I'd also ask his spirit to come with us, and any other spirits who may be listening in the universe to come and join us here today, along with any other spirits that are in our lives that other folks may not know. Think of those spirits, gather them with us today. And they are welcome here. Another group, slightly different, but the same people, descendants of ours. Descendants being not just necessarily blood or family relations, but also other folks we come in contact with, other folks that we may hear about in the news. These folks who are generation or more after us are also in this continuum. I ask that any spirits of any descendants, any folks who may come after us, let us also hold them in our hearts. Blessed be and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now I'd like to call our friend George Ramirez up to do our honoring of the Divine Feminine, which we do every Sunday. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Sally Jo. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. And again, I have this great honor to provide an offering to the Divine Feminine, and we have this candle that Sally Jo pointed to that's a constant reminder through our whole service of the awareness we should have of the Divine Feminine within us. I just finished reading the book Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, which is the book that's going to be the one that our 2026 spiritual discernment is going to be rooted in. And Thich Nhat Hanh in that book, he uses engaged Buddhist principles and mindful practice practices to help us change our way of thinking and seeing, and to address global crisis and inspire personal and collective awakening and action. And another book I've just been reading as well, coincidentally, is by a gentleman by the name of Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, a contemporary Sufi mystic, author, teacher. And in his book, The Return of the Feminine and the World Soul, he addresses the necessity for humanity to address the global crisis as well and achieve, as he calls it, transformation. But he does so from a divine perspective. So I thought it appropriate today to begin this new year with an offering to the Divine Feminine, with a brief reading from Vaughan Lee's book. And I think this reading both honors the Divine Feminine and reinforces our discernment for this year. So there's this brief section that I think, one, is lovely, and two, almost defines his whole book, but it's a book I recommend you reading. But here's what Llewellyn Vaughan Lee has to say. The mystery of the Divine Feminine speaks to us from within her creation. She is not a distant God in heaven, but a presence that is here with us, needing our response. She is the divine, returning to claim her creation, the real wonder of what it means to be alive. We have forgotten her, just as we have forgotten so much of what it is that is sacred. And yet, she is always a part of us. But now, she needs to be known again, not just as myth, not as a spiritual image, but something that belongs to the blood and the breath. She can awaken us to an expectancy in the air, to an ancient memory coming alive in a new way. She can help us to give birth to the divine that is within us, to the oneness that is all around us. She can help us to remember our real nature. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Steve is now going to give us a little background music to contemplate those beautiful words.
I have some spoken words. I periodically thank my mother, and I haven't done it in a while. So what you're about to hear is because I think it was in second grade. I'm not positive. I never really asked her. She either told me or asked me if I wanted to play piano. And it happened. And then I kept playing, and then later on they said, "Do you want to stop?" I said, "No, I want to keep going." So it's the gift that's been ongoing. And thanks, Mom. I'm pretty sure it was not my idea.
Thank you so much, Steve. I think you'll notice today that we've tried to create this service so that as many people as possible can share, and each of us will have a chance to share something soon. Next, I'm going to ask Steve Kramer to read the mission and vision of Interfaith Community Sanctuary as it has been created.
Thank you, Sally Jo. I'll be sharing our mission statement. When I looked at both the mission and vision statements, the vision statement is essentially rolled into the mission statement. So what I'll be reading will contain both. We are a truly interfaith community dedicated to healing and education. We desire our worship celebrations and the life of the community to reflect our interfaith openness. Through our welcoming spirit and mutual respect, we are a center for healing. We are creating a home of love and truth as a center of light for all seekers of divine wisdom. We encourage personal growth in unconditional spiritual love. We believe interfaith includes the following. We consider all faith and spiritual traditions as path towards one God. We believe each expression of God valuable. We honor all expressions of God. We welcome individuals from all faiths and spiritual traditions. We consider each person's path valid for him or her. We honor the personal path of each sincere, open, honest seeker. We offer the following affirmations. We seek the truth and speak our truth without fear. We are open to hearing and learning from each other. We reflect on our interfaith vision and nurture it in our hearts. We pray for the realization of our interfaith vision. I would also like to share a few words of our dear Reverend Karen Lindquist as she reflected on this. As a community, we endeavor to live in the openness of heart and compassionate understanding that embraces all of life. As a spiritual organization, we are collectively organized to thrive through listening, sharing, and caring for one another. As individuals in awe of the divine, we support and respect one another's personal spiritual path and spiritual practices. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. This is an introspective time for us, as you can see, to think about who we are and what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? So this beautiful interfaith mission and vision that Steve shared with the reflections, the question arises, well, how do we do that? There's that verb, what are we doing here? And the next portion of our program will be a time when Joey and I will share some of the events and accomplishments, some of the doings that is going on here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary and in our larger community. It's our belief, and I know Reverend Karen shared this belief, that although we do love this historic building and we do a lot of our work in this historic building, we do not want to be confined to this building in our doing, that we need to go out into the world, into the larger community and into the world, And so we'll start. I'll ask Joey to come up, and we will go through and remind ourselves and each other of just looking back over the year 2025, and what are some of, I don't purport this to be an exhaustive list, although we tried to make it as exhaustive as possible. It was exhausting doing that. And, my calendar was just like popping out at me in the ICS. Anyway, we're going to start. Joey's going to start us off, and we're going to go back and forth so you don't get tired of either of our voices too much.
Good morning. My name is Joey, and lots of events and projects, services happened this year. We are so grateful for everyone who contributed, and first we'll just say, okay, every Sunday we meet here at 10 a.m. And we are always live streamed, and there's always recording available online for viewing at a later time. We are so thankful to our tech team, which includes Bryce, Chris, and Zach. So thank you for making that happen for us tech team.
We also have long-standing worship offerings through as part of those Sunday services that have been going on. Some of them for many years, most of them for many years. Every first Sunday, we have something called Welcoming the Guest worship service, and that's been going on since this organization was founded back in 1990. Every second Sunday of the month, we have our universal worship, where we have an altar celebrating 8 of the many, many infinite religious spiritual traditions in the world, and the scriptures of those traditions are read and contemplated on a certain theme, a different theme every month. Third Sundays, Imam Jamal Rahman shares his wisdom of the Eastern wisdom traditions and the Islamic and other Eastern wisdom traditions. And on the fourth Sunday, this year in particular, we started a new kind of fourth Sunday offering where every fourth Sunday a congregant member is invited to share their own personal spiritual journey in any way they feel moved to share that as to how they came about with their spiritual journey.
We started a new tradition that will be an annual service going forward, and that is where we will have a dedication and commemoration service for loved ones every November.
And then in terms of, we want to thank everybody. I mean, I think pretty much everybody in this room and many out in cyberspace who are not in this room have participated in one way or another in our Sunday services in many ways. Sometimes in the back story in the kitchen when the food is getting prepared and put out. Sometimes in the front story in the sanctuary here, but always in the enjoyment of it. And we want to thank all of us for having been a part of the Sunday services. There were some special events that happened to be above and beyond Sundays. In January, we had a sacred intention setting on the 1st of January last year, just like we did this year, but this is 2025 now. We had our annual members celebration like we're having today. In February, in February of 2025, we celebrated the Soraya Attar Medical Clinic annual gala, which is a project we support in Bangladesh. And Jamal Rahman and his family helped us to plan and celebrate that. And that was off campus. That was at the Unity of Linwood. And then we had the Karen Lindquist one-year memorial service, also on an off Sunday. That wasn't on a Sunday, but that was a memorial service. Oh, actually, it was a Sunday, I think. A memorial service for the Reverend Karen Lindquist. In March, we went out again off campus to Bellevue to the United in Spirit Interfaith retreat, where Jamal and Rabbi Olivier and others participated in an interfaith retreat there. We had our ICS membership retreat here in our building, And during Ramadan, we had a special service called Night of Destiny, which was when the first words of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, and that's celebrated every year during Ramadan.
In April, we did a dinner with others in Unity of Linwood, and if you haven't had an opportunity to join in one of those, please do. May, we had a kirtan concert. June, another dinner with others at Center for Spiritual Living.
In July, there was a wonderful program here at ICS with the Interfaith Amigos, a reunion of the Interfaith Amigos with their new woman rabbi, and also with Jamal and with Don McKenzie and the Rabbi Laura, tell me her last name again, Jamal. Laura Duhan Kaplan is the new Interfaith rabbi. And then we had Peace Camp International Day Camp, which operated out of our fellowship hall and our sanctuary here for 3 weeks during the months of July and into August. Oh, I'm still going. And one thing I want to remind everybody, Peace Camp will be going on again this year, we're happy to say, in 2026. And we had a talent show every Friday, which was open to the public at every Friday during the 3 weeks of Peace Camp International. And then in September, we had a busy time with, we had a garden work party and a summer picnic. Chris and Lila had the renewal of their wedding vows and their anniversary celebration. We had a Project Ethiopia workshop here, which was part of the Project Ethiopia 20th anniversary event. The anniversary event was off campus again, but we also had some time to meet with our project leaders. And we had another dinner with others in the St. Joseph Parish. Ask me if September was a particularly busy month for us.
In October, we had Dances of Universal Peace. November and December were also very busy. So November, we did St. Mark's Prayer Vigil off campus. We did the, how do you pronounce that? SAMC?
Yeah, it means other, that's an acronym.
I know.
About the Bengali.
The Bengali Annual Gala. We did a Ballard Food Bank Drive. The Northwest Interfaith Annual Praise and Thanksgiving Service, Center for Spiritual Living Annual Thanksgiving Program, and finally in December we did another Ballard Food Bank Drive, Blues Vespers musical program, and Holiday Craft Fair and Bake Sale, and the Fall Equinox Fire Ceremony.
And what we're trying to emphasize here is that many events do happen here, and our congregants are a major part of that. But I know ever since I first started coming to ICS, and I know this is true of many of us, the events that happen off campus in other houses of worship and with other communities are very, very valuable to us because they help us see how other spiritual communities deal with the same things we're dealing with and talking about and learning about. And we get to know people that way. So many of us travel to these events, participate in them, and it really is a part of our culture here. We also do a lot of projects around here to keep our historic building in good order. We had an incredible spring cleaning number of months between March and May that Joey headed up, and we did an amazing job of, you ever notice how you look up at these lamps and they're not full of bugs? There's a reason for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's because Joey had us take them down and clean them out. And you know, sometimes when I'm swimming at the club and I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm thinking, these guys need Joey here to clean out these. Oh well. Anyway, we did an East Side soil restoration. I say we, but I wasn't in on this work party. But there were a couple who were, and I don't know. Yes, Rashid is here. I know Rashid and Joey were largely responsible for cleaning up the mess that was left when our trees were taken down, and we also had. Jamal was involved in many, many workshops and classes throughout the year some of them right here. He recorded right here from our sanctuary, and many of our members were involved with the Shift Network, and also a special one-day workshop we did here for ICS people who were involved in August. So lots of classes, but also a lot of work around the building. We want to thank everybody who participated in these projects and everybody who's enjoying the results of all these projects too, because it's a community and we wouldn't be able to do it without everybody's help.
And last but not least, we have some ongoing offerings. We always have our guiding council meetings, and all are welcome to those, so please join us. That's the first Sunday of every month, right after service. Dinner with Others is ongoing. We've had many of those, and we hope that they will continue this next year. The ICS Faith and Justice Circle meets periodically. It's been meeting since March. And movie night and dinner at ICS, which began in October. We hope those will continue through the coming year as well. So can we give a round of applause to ourselves and everyone who is involved?
And of course, we're not taking the time right now to mention all the different classes and gatherings that happen throughout the week. These you hear about pretty much every Sunday during announcements, and I do have a list of them if anybody would like to see them in the order every single day: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You just heard about Sunday, right? There is no day of the week where these doors are shut the whole day and evening. We are always open for various classes, book groups, meditation circles, Sufi zikrs, spiritual development classes, faith and justice classes, like we said earlier, the movie nights, and there are new things in the wings that are coming up too. So this is how we keep renewing our community, by having people who have a special interest being able to offer that interest to each other, and we will do that. We will continue to do that. So again, it's just by way of trying to understand that we're trying to make this community into not only an interfaith community, but an interactive community. So we are acting in so many different ways to bring about our interfaith vision and our interfaith understanding. Now, we've been through the past, we've been a little bit in the present. I want to call Imam Jamal Rahman up to talk to us a little about his vision and our vision for the future.
So my dear friends, if I talk about the vision of Interfaith Community Sanctuary, there are two people you need to know about who've had a very remarkable influence on our vision. One is Sheikh J. Besides Chris and Laila, who remembers Sheikh J? That was towards the end of 1990s. He was a very wonderful Sufi master from Senegal who came to this place and said, "Oh my God, the vision that you have of interfaith is just remarkable. This can be a template for the world." And he was a very well-known teacher, a member of Parliament of Senegal. And he came here numerous times from Africa just to visit our place here. The other one who's had a tremendous influence on us is Brother Wayne Teasdale. Who remembers him? A Christian mystic who, unfortunately, Sheikh J, by the way, died in a car accident. And you know, when he died, on his deathbed, he said to his successor, whose name was Ibrahim, on his deathbed, Ibrahim came and told us here that Sheikh J, before he died, he said, "Ibrahim, you're my successor. You must visit," in those days it was called Interfaith Community Church. And he came and visited us here, but never came back again. The second person, Wayne Teasdale, I don't know how many times he's come here. Unfortunately, he also died of cancer. He has a very big influence globally because he has coined the term, he says, go beyond interfaith, talk about interspirituality. And he's got a number of wonderful, wonderful books. A great friend of Dalai Lama. Again, he came and told Karen and myself, Jamal, this place again, the ideas that you have is just incredible. So you must have come here at least 8 or 9 times and talked to us extensively about what we're doing. But both of them said, that if you really believe in the non-hierarchy of religions, if you really sincerely from your heart believe that, there's no holier than thou attitude, your governance, how you make decisions, should also be non-hierarchical. Get away from this power of ministers, power of the board. Let it be with the people, the congregation. So I want you to know this. I always forget, is it iterations or iterations? There's iterations of different forms of how to govern. Has given us many sleepless nights, lots of changes, and today we have come to the guiding council. We have bypassed the tyranny of ministers, the tyranny of the board, and the congregation makes the decisions. Now there are pros and cons to that, believe me, but it's wonderful. But what is important, these both teachers taught us that having done what you think is very wonderful, keep going beyond that. In Sufism, there's a term about religious institutions. It suffers from, quote unquote, deferred maintenance. Now just take that to heart. It suffers from deferred maintenance. Keep going deep with it. Salijo, you mentioned the Sunday services. From my heart, I would like you to really memorize and keep on thinking about how we could continuously deepen, expand, enrich, ennoble our Sunday services. Because that's a very key part of our worship, of our Interfaith Community Sanctuary mission. People, whenever I travel in the country and overseas, they say, Interfaith is wonderful, but how do you practice interfaith? How can you do that? Therefore, I want to again tell you, this has developed over the years. Karen put her heart and soul into it. Sally Jo is putting her heart and soul into it. So I want to ask you again, do you remember, what is the first week? Guest speaker. Second week? Universal worship. So the idea is second week, let's study different religions. Third week, just because I'm minister here, Jamal speaks. Fourth one has grown and developed. It has changed. Sally Jo says if we really believe in non-hierarchy, each one of you is a minister. Each one of you is a leader. So Sally Jo, she encourages one of you to become the preacher, the minister, come up here and give the sermon. Fifth Sunday, it is what? Dialogue. Okay, so just that's very important for us to know, because if you really believe in interfaith, you want to expand and promote interfaith, they'll ask you again and again, so how do you do the services? So be with the ones we're doing right now and let's continue to enrich it and ennoble it as we go on. Okay, having said that, the second point is I love to study what I call interfaith centers. They study interfaith. How do you do interfaith? And the one word that comes up is, if you really want to succeed in doing interfaith, it's all about friendship. It doesn't matter if you're very conservative or very, very liberal, can you have friendship? So I'm so happy to say that we have programs here of friendship, but for 2026, let's continue doing programs, movie nights, dinner nights. I want to start inviting people to my house. Please feel free to open your house to invite groups of friends that you like. Don't worry about, we've done this thousands of times before we came here, and people would always worry about, I don't have the right kind of cutlery, or my house is not very clean. Don't worry about that. Make it potluck, but get together with the people again and again and again and again, because you really want to connect on a heart level with the other. That is how you'll build authentic community. Okay, third point, which Sheikh J and Wayne Teasel emphasized again and again. Please go beyond the four walls. Don't make this a private club. reach out to others. If you don't want to reach out to others who are different from you, at least reach out to others with whom you have, quote unquote, kinship of spirit. And we have reached out. Just as soon as they said that, a year or two later, there was the emergence of Interfaith Amigos. And we had lots of programs, well, some of you might remember, with work, Warm for Winter. We had so many programs at St. Patrick's. Any of you remember St. Patrick's? A lot of programs we had there. We had programs in Bet Aleph, Ted's synagogue. A lot of programs in Don's church. Can you remember how to pronounce his church?
United Church of Christ. No, University United Church of Christ. University Congregational. UCC, yeah. University Congregational United Church of Christ.
UCC. Huge church in the university area. We had lots of programs there also. Yeah, Seder dinner there, lots of interfaith programs. I'm saying all of that because let's connect with houses of worship beyond our own house of worship. So I'm proposing for 2026. In 2025, we have connected with Center for Spiritual Living, Unity of Linwood, St. Joseph's, and and the Nirankari Mission. 4 houses of worship. So please join those programs which already have been mapped out, Sacred Conversations. We're planning a retreat of all the different congregations getting together. And think of some other programs we could be doing with those houses of worship. Okay, having said that, then we have to be of service. And I am so delighted when Sheikh J and Wayne Teasel said, go beyond 4 walls. We have really gone beyond 4 walls. Project Ethiopia, SAMC, program in Bangladesh, Peace Camp, very successful programs. But, if you have any other ideas of going beyond 4 walls on service, please bring it up. But now, what is very important is we have to, with those 4 houses of worship, really do programs locally also, with the homeless that George is very involved in. But with those other houses of worship also, environmental programs. Currently, with the immigration, the ICE issue. So let's join hands with the other 4 houses of worship and do local service projects. Okay, the last thing I want to say, when Sheikh J and Wayne Teasel said go beyond 4 walls, there wasn't too much of internet in those days. I don't know if you remember. There was not too much of email. Social media was not existent at that time very much. So I've had several people walk through this door here, really celebrities. I don't have the permission to mention their names. They said, Jamal, what you and the congregation have here, now it's me, Sally Joe, previously it was Karen, and the congregation is remarkable. But you've got to get on social media. You can't keep it a secret. It's not about fame or glory. It's about really spreading the message. Like Johnny Appleseed, plant seeds here, there, every place. Use social media. Jamal, if you're too old, ask the young people. They will guide you. So I'm inviting people, and I really want to start a group here to do small, short videos. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to social media, but I've done very small videos with the help of friends outside the community, I must say, and I get emails and phone calls and requests from all over the world. Say, wow, this is fantastic what you doing at Interfaith Community Sanctuary. I want to involve all of you making short videos, podcasts, some articles, Instagram. You see, it doesn't require expertise. It requires, a sense of honesty, a sense of passion, a sense of sincerity. I want to end by saying, through that door, a young lady came in. She was from California. She said, Jamal, you've written some books on Islam, on interfaith. I've read them. I want to write a book. can you give me some advice? She stayed for 2 days. I introduced her to Sally Joe. Now, this lady has written a book, self-published, which has become an international bestseller. She's gone on Instagram. She's close to 700,000, 800,000 followers on her Instagram. My book has become done well because I just wrote a blurb on her book, and so I get a lot of people subscribe to my book because of her, you see. But my point here is, what is it about her that made it so successful? A lot of people write books. How come her book, which is self-published, has become and continues to be an international bestseller? How is it that she has getting close to 1 million followers on Instagram? You know what it is I noticed about her? She's a very humble, sincere human being. No desire for fame or glory, but she's passionate. I mean, really passionate about the message she wants to share. A lot of people have a lot of Instagram accounts. Why is it that she has close to 1 million? And on the same subject, it is because of who she is. And I know that there are people among you here and in our larger community who have that same sincerity, honesty, passion. I want you to put it into your social media. Let other people know about it in a way that is non-egoistic. We really want to share the message of what we're doing here. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I'll stop right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. At this point, I'd like to do a little gratitude circle. So I wonder if the people who are sitting in the back could find a chair up here in the circle. It'll just make it easier for us to pass the microphone. And somebody can use my chair if necessary, and I'll start up here. Just for this part, you don't have to stay up here, but we have plenty of chairs. The reason is because what we're going to do is we're going to pass the microphone around the circle and ask each of you to say just one sentence or one phrase or words about what you are grateful for at Interfaith Community Sanctuary. Now, you're all here this morning. You all got up out of bed, and it was still pouring down rain at the time. And you got yourself here, and you're sitting here through all this jibber-jabber, and you're still with us. And many of you come every Sunday, I know, because I'm looking around. So I would like you to just say one word or phrase about what you are grateful for or thankful for in this community, because I think we have, all of us, a lot of gratitude in our heart. And I will end with my gratitude. So Steve, I'll ask you to start. And if you are willing, you can say your first name when you say your gratitude. If you're not willing to say your first name, that's okay too. But if you're willing to, we would like to know who is speaking.
I am so thankful for our welcoming, beloved community in all its shapes and colors.
I'm Janice, and I attend usually by Zoom, and so I'm very happy to be here, and I appreciate everybody seeing friends from long ago.
I'm really grateful for the ability to feel free to express who I am.
I'm Judy. I like guiding counsel. It is done with such respect, and we usually come to consensus, and we take care of what needs to be done in the church in a very wonderful, respectful way.
I'm Nina. I'm grateful for the community, the mission, the vision, and its vast potential and my ability to contribute.
Friendship. I'm grateful that I found a place where I could kind of fit and be inspired and feel love both ways.
I'm George, and I'm grateful to be able to sit with all these luminous souls.
I'm Elizabeth, and I am grateful for the community and the feeling of support I get whenever I have an idea about something, it's just like, oh, yeah, do that. So that's lovely.
I'm Denise. I'm really grateful for meeting people from different religions and praying to one God all together, regardless of what we belong to.
So I'm Jamal, and I also speak on behalf of our late Karen Lindquist. And we both would say that, my God, we are so grateful that this circle of love is flourishing even after Karen Lindquist has passed away, and will continue to flourish even more when I pass away. I'm so sorry.
Sure. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm usually behind the camera. I'm grateful that regardless of, I've been going here for 10 years, and regardless of how often or sometimes how long it's been since I've been here, I'm always welcomed with open arms.
My name is Richard, and seeing all the different faces here, it reminds me of the Baha'i quotation from Baha'u'llah, and which says, "The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens."
I'm Angel, and I'm really grateful for being able to learn from and resonate with the wisdom of other faiths and cultures.
I'm John. Actually, I'm grateful for many things, but what really brought me here, what drew me to ICS was universal worship. I'm very grateful for that. I love the job that Joey and Rich are doing, and I miss Michael.
Hi, I'm Chris again. I'm grateful that our community is always emerging, always compassionate, always forgiving, and I'm grateful for Lila.
Hello, my name is Lila. I'm grateful to have the love and support from this community, especially being a witch. It's funny being in a church all the time. So I feel very supported, and I'm so grateful that I could be myself. And I'm accepted and loved for all my weirdness and quirkiness.
Hi, my name is Joey. There are so many things I'm grateful for. The first thing I saw when I walked through the doors was these stars on the ceiling here, and I knew I was home. And after that, I was welcomed to be able to express my inner, I don't know, what do you call it? I love landscaping, and I've been given the opportunity to do that here. And any church that I go to or sanctuary that I go to would have to be all about inclusivity, and there's universal worship service. That's what it's all about, and all the other services as well. So, gosh, I'm grateful for it all. The building, I mean, you name it. I can't think of a thing I'm not grateful for here. So thank you.
I'm Lily, and I agree with Joey, everything she said. I think probably the most thing I'm thankful for is my friend Adina, who turned me on to this church to begin with, which was maybe 15 years ago, I've forgotten. But she came to a New Year's celebration at my house, and she said, "Oh, do you know about this place in your neighborhood? It's just down the street." And I'm like, "No, I've never heard of it." And it took me maybe a year before I actually came here. I was on my way to work and heard Jamal on KUOW being interviewed, and I just sort of stopped my car, and I was like, "Oh my God, I've got to do this. I've got to come." And so it's been really wonderful. I don't come that often. I'm in Portland a lot, but I love it when I'm here. I think the most that I really appreciate about this community is the acceptance that you don't have to be anything but yourself, and that you can question and grow together. I love that the most, and I'm really thankful there's a place to do that.
I'm thankful for the warmth and openness of everyone here in this space, and it feels very wonderful.
I'm Steve. I've thought of 3 specific things. One is that, of course, it's the people. Everyone's already said that, so I'm not going to say that again. But we encourage our members to come up and have a service where they share their spiritual views. I just think that's so important, because any organization that doesn't promote that, they just miss out on so much. The second thing is that I have seen this organization work through issues, and there have been issues. There's always problems. They keep coming around. You think you got them settled, and then there's a new problem. But we stick with consensus. And if we don't come to an agreement, we don't do anything about that. We walk that walk. And then the third thing, Sally Joe's piano. That sits right here. Come on, give it up for the piano.
That went through my mind, but I couldn't say it, so thank you for saying it. That's right. I'm glad there are people who play my piano besides me, and I get to hear different music on it. Thank you, Steve. And it is my piano, but it's our piano. It's been here since it's been here in Seattle. My name is Sally Joe, and as you know, I'm grateful for every single one of you who are here, and those who are not here today, but who are often here, and those who have been here, and those who will be here in the future, those out there in cyberspace who have never been here in person. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, because this is a community of people. And my gratitude is for the wisdom that comes from each and every person in this community and in the communities that we interact with outside. I mean, how can we learn except from others? I mean, we don't want to be stuck with just our own tape recordings in our head over and over again, right? We need to hear from others about other perspectives, and that's what we get here, and it's very, very beautiful, and we keep reaching out for more. We have never heard it all, we've never seen it all, but we know that we are seeking wisdom, we're seeking beauty, we're seeking love. Those 3 words come to my mind, and they're foremost in what I believe we are seeking and receiving in this community. So thank you all for being part of it. And I'm grateful that we're also grateful. I guess I can say that. I'm grateful that Steve is going to provide a little more music for us before we move on. See what I mean by beauty? It comes in so many forms. I'd like to ask our current president, this year's president, Susan Kingston, to say a few words of reflection.
I think Brother George knows how I feel today. Looking forward to getting into the helicopter and flying off to becoming a normal person. For people to stop referring to me as this, just getting into the helicopter, becoming a normal person. I'm referring to the fact that we have at our guiding council meeting, after this, we elect new officers for the guiding council, at which the virtual baton will get passed on to the next group of folks who want to lead. It's just, there's something about the life force that exists here. And it existed before all of us came here, because the building has been home to so many communities before any of us ever came here. And as we have seen people come and go in our communities, that we come in and we tap into that life force, and for all of us, all of our gratitudes are all the ways that the life force, that we tap into that and what we call this thing that we get from being here. And we all contribute to that. We're just this organism that just keeps going, and we contribute to this life force by being here. And I just marvel at all the ways that people contribute talents and time, and some of those contributions are very visible, and so much of it happens and we have no idea it even happens, but it does. And on a daily and a weekly basis, just like the number of people that come through this space and contribute to this life force and receive it, contribute to it, and it just keeps going. I just marvel, really, really marvel at all of that. And it's wonderful to be both a contributor and a recipient to that. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Susan. And I want to take just a few minutes now, and I know we're coming to the end of our time together here this morning, and then we'll go downstairs and have some more fun downstairs. I do want to spend just a few minutes talking about the whole concept of our spiritual discernment. Some of you might be hearing that for the first time. Others are very familiar with. Over the last, I'd say 15 years, which is most of the time I've been here, maybe 20 years, because I've been here for 20 years, and as far as back as I can remember, we've had a spiritual discernment. And that means that every year, the ministerial group chooses, right now, that would be myself and Jamal, but in the past it was whatever ministers were involved in the church at that time, in the congregation. And they would choose a theme for an interfaith kind of theme for us to study and as a congregation to approach and to gain wisdom from. And it's not like something we want everybody to believe in. It's what we want people to dip into and study and come up with their own ideas, thoughts, practices, whatever comes up with them. And but it's something that I've been very enamored with since we started, because it provides a lot of the ways that we open ourselves up. It's like opening a new book every year, or like a flower opening up. We get a chance to open up to something new, even if it's something we've heard of before or think we knew. By opening it up in a group, in a congregation, in a community of people who are serious about learning and gaining wisdom, and who are serious about a spiritual path, we learn a lot that way. So it isn't always a book, but this year we've chosen a book, and it's not like we want everybody to read this book and believe in it. I'm going to encourage everybody, and I'm so encouraged. There's a couple of people have already read the book, and it's the kind of book you can read or open up and learn from, even if you just read a few pages of it. It's called Zen in the Art of Saving the Planet. It's written by a very well-known Buddhist leader, Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist monk, and he's been working with his specific kind of what's called engaged Buddhism since his days in Vietnam. He's from Vietnam, and he worked in Vietnam in social service during the Vietnam War, and then he came to the United States and studied, I think it was at Princeton, and then he started a monastery in France called Plum Village, and that was where he spent the end of his life. He died in 2022, I believe. And his monastery there still promotes his work. And I would invite you to dip into this book one way or another. I have 2 copies of it that I purchased for the sanctuary. It's available in the library. It's available on audiobooks. It's a wonderful book to hear read aloud. I think the monks and the nuns actually read it. I'm not sure, but Nora Grace, you got it. Elizabeth, you got it. And it's read by the people at Plum Village, right? I think, the audio. And so they've been living it and working with it for a long time. I encourage you to dip into it and find an entry point if you can. I challenge you to find an entry point. We'll all find a different entry point where something we'll read and we'll say, oh, wow, really? Really? That's the kind of entry point I want you to find. It's the kind that gives you shivers, which just gave me shivers. When you read something and you think deep down in your heart, there must be something to that. I need to explore it. I don't care what entry point you find, but I'm encouraging you to keep reading until you find one. And if you're willing, share with me when it is, because I truly believe everybody will find an entry point in this book. And in the teachings that come out of it, now those of us who are working on the services and who are part of our ministry, which is each and every one of us, many of you have been asked to come up here and minister to us, and more of you will be asked this year. Some have already been asked for this coming year. And you'll all be, and you can ask me if you can have a turn, and you will all get a turn, whoever wants one. And you can share anything you want about your spiritual journey when you take on that 4th service. But there are many people who share in other ways too, through their artistry, through their music, through their work around the building, and their, like Joey was saying, their landscaping. Anything we do to express ourselves and our spirituality is a method of sharing, and it's all here. And I just want to mention the 3 energies that I hope we will develop as we go through our year with sharing. These are all in the book too. There's an energy of the meditator. And you know, the last 2 or 3 years in our discernment, we've been working on the energy of the meditator. We've been studying different ways to meditate, different techniques. You'll learn some more techniques this year if you study with us this book. We'll be practicing some techniques. So the energy of the meditator is the contemplative nature that we bring to the community and that we express in ourselves. The second energy is the energy of the artist. Believe me, each and every one of us is an artist and has an artist energy in us. We may not be able to draw a picture or paint a watercolor painting, although some of us can, but we have an artist in us that is expressed in our creativity, in our curiosity, in our playfulness, in our just imagination, in our childlike nature. That's the artist in us. We all have that, and we will want to be touching into that this year. It'll help us solve the difficulties that come up that, like Steve was talking about, we come up with creative ideas, creative energy, creative activities. And the third energy is the energy of the warrior. And that energy is the persistence, the perseverance in times of difficulty, the part of us that is not going to give up just because it isn't coming easily, the part of us that wants to work with others to gain more effectiveness in whatever it is we believe in and whatever it is we want to change in the world. The warrior in us is also needed so that our world can progress. And George, that passage you read this morning had seemed to have all those energies in it, that feminine, when you read about the divine feminine. And I'm going to get George's book, because I tell you, I get really good reading suggestions from this group here. But the book that George suggested by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee, right? I always forget one of the three names. He's a wonderful writer, and I didn't know he'd written a book about the divine feminine. But it's very, very possible for us to tap into those different energies and get them a little more in balance with each of us. And that's one of our goals for this discernment this year. And it isn't really about Buddhism, although it's based on ancient scripture, written thousands of years ago, one of the first written scriptures ever, put into writing, the Diamond Sutra. It's not new theory, it's ancient theory, which makes it very interesting and attractive to be putting, though, through the new eyes of a person who's been living in this 21st and 20th century and who knows where we are right now. So I encourage you to give it a try, see where your entry point is. Look for an entry point, see if you can find one. All right. Beyond that, we're going to just do a few announcements. And like I said, we kind of did the announcements earlier when we talked about the fact that we have classes every day of the week. And we have groups that meet together that are not classes but are gatherings. And if you would like to see a written out copy of the Monday through Sunday write-up, it's all here, and I'll leave it in the front. It's also on our website. It's also comes out in our weekly announcement of our upcoming gatherings. And you can always find out what group you want to get together with and share your ideas and learn from other people who are doing the same sort of exploration, whether it's a poetry class or a movie night or a walk around the park, whatever it is. We've got it going, and you can. And if we don't have it, you can start it. That's for sure. We have Jamal is starting a class next Saturday where the class is being asked to read this book or parts of this book, whatever part speaks to them. And he's going to be giving some talks on Saturday mornings, and we're going to work in small groups and do our spiritual development that way and have meditations every Saturday morning from 10 to 12. You can register for that by talking to him or me, and there's some flyers over there. It'll be a 6-week class. And then we have, as I said, the weekly classes and George's meditation on Thursday. I'm really going to encourage everybody to try a little bit of meditation. It may not be your thing, but try some mindfulness for 5 minutes a day. Just see what happens, or 5 minutes when you think of it, and see how it works for you. You might be surprised. Does anyone else have any announcements they'd like? Oh.
Every Tuesday on Zoom, there's a Sisiwis Medicine Circle. Those sessions are for women only so that they can get together in a safe environment to experience the local medicine that the indigenous people share. And every second Saturday and fourth Wednesday are in-person open circles. For men, children, anyone who would like to join us for those. And I've been involved for the last 2 years, and it's just has really enriched my life here as a ICS member. So if you're interested, come check it out.
Great, thank you. And next Sunday, go ahead.
I also wanted to mention that Sally Jo is encouraging us to participate in meditation, and another form that is offered here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary is through our beloved Atara, who does the sound healing meditation. So that is another form. If sitting and meditating doesn't work for you, there's music and chant. That's another form that is available to you.
There's zikrs every Sunday, every Monday evening. There's a zikr, which is another form of chanting and meditating in the Sufi tradition. On once a month on Thursdays, there's another Sufi group that meets that does chanting and zikr and healing. and that includes the whirling dervishes, and Course in Miracles, which, and there's, yeah, and I'm telling you, and next Sunday, you've heard a little bit about universal worship, the second Sunday. Next Sunday's the second Sunday, and we have our universal worship, and the focus will be on two ideas. The idea of interbeing, which is part of our discernment this year, this fact that we are all interconnected with each other, with Mother Earth, and with the cosmos. And the second concept we'll be working with is the concept of the meditator. What does it really mean to be a meditative person, or a person who meditates? It's a very wide concept. So those are the things that we'll be exploring through other religious traditions besides Buddhism. Buddhism is one of the traditions, but there are 7 others. And so we're interested in how do the other spiritual traditions deal with these concepts of interbeing and meditating and contemplating. So those are the things we'll be starting with. It's going to be an exciting year. So I'm going to stop there because it's getting late. I want to pass the plate, and I know that our people out in cyberspace are clicking on our website and finding ways to donate. And this is important because, you know, we have a treasurer's report coming up, and, you know, well, the only way we get a treasurer is by having some money, and the only way we get some money is by having people to donate it to us, and that's how we keep this beautiful historic building alive and well, and all the programs that are going on in it. So please help us out, and we appreciate that you do. And we will be forever grateful. We're going to say goodbye to our cyber congregants out there and welcome them back on Sunday. And if you missed the New Year's intention setting, that's been recorded and it's on our website. If you want to hear about the New Year's program, the intention setting, that was with Jamal Rahman, myself, Pastor Dave Brown, and Father Centurio from Uganda, which is, we were saying that Peace Camp International is another international group that we are part of that is focused in Uganda, and they have a peace camp program just like ours, which we have helped them to start. So we'll close with a little